Hi guys, this is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine. I'm here with Miss Amber Kolchew from Ontario, Canada. Actually, Amber, what area are you actually from?
I'm from Thorold, which it's a very small area, so people aren't too sure where it is, so I normally just say it's near Niagara Falls.
Oh, well, that's nice. Is it, how's the weather up there? I know that's kind of a irrelevant question to ask, but I'm curious.
Yeah. Um, Last week we were enjoying the beautiful weather. It was nice. We were basically in shorts. If you had a pool open, you'd love to go swimming. And now
Awesome.
we're back in winter jackets.
We
I
had the
think there
same
was a little
problem.
snow.
We had the same problem this morning, so it sounds like we're on the same
Yeah.
wavelength. Um,
Oh yeah.
Amber, how old are you?
I'm 16.
And your Fargo is 375, you said, but you haven't played that many matches to increase your Fargo.
No, in my area, no, none of our pool halls near me really use the Fargo rate or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm not like, yeah.
So you have something similar to the United States, which is an APA rating or CCS of 6, I believe
Yeah.
you said. Okay, that's about what
Yes,
I play. Awesome, awesome. So, are you currently enrolled in school?
I am.
You are.
Yes.
And what is your major after high school? Are you planning on going to college?
Um, Most likely trying to go to university, and to major in either psychology or teaching music.
Interesting. Interesting that you say that. I was in a band back in my early 20s, so it would have been nice to have a music teacher that got me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. When did you start playing pool?
Um, I first learned about what the game really was when I was 10 after we moved to Thorold. Um, but then I was kind of just like messing around, met a couple juniors, but then over the years, I was the only junior that kind of actually stuck with the game. We lost some, we gained some, and then over time, they all kind of just lost interest.
Hmm. Interesting.
But I've only been playing serious for about 4 years and haven't really been to any big tournaments since after COVID lockdowns.
Okay. So during COVID, it was pretty much you had no way of playing unless you had a table at home, correct?
Yeah, I did have a table at home, but it was just, I kind of lost a little motivation during
Mhm.
that. But I think it was just because I'm stuck in the house all day
Right.
and
Lack
just,
of being competitive. You didn't have anyone to, I mean, playing dad and beating him every time probably gets old, right?
yeah.
No offense, Dad. Don't come after me. Okay. So what's the scene like in Canada? I mean, Americans, we have basically a small community. We have 4, counting the Junior Beer Scholarship Fund and the Monica Webb Battle of the Junior Champions, which is something that I'm affiliated with. We have the JIC. We also have the APA. We have the VNEA. We also have the BEF. Do you have anything similar to that in Canada?
Um, we have the CPA and CCS, which I'm
Okay.
not too sure about a whole lot of.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Are
very
you,
small.
are you involved with the women's events in that area? I think it's the
Um,
WPBA. Do you
there's
have
a
something
couple,
similar? Okay. Okay.
but I haven't really been to any of them.
All right. Okay, good. So, well, let's get started with some of those other questions. What do you have in your case, Amber?
Um, I have my carbon fiber J Flowers Q playing Q.
That's a
I have
nice
my
gift.
break. Yeah. Um, I have my glove, my Tam chalk, which is pink. I have chapstick. I have quarters. Because if you ever need to flip.
Oh, absolutely. A girl has to be prepared. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a claw. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. And you're currently enrolled in school. Would you like to plug that school right quick?
Laura Secord Secondary School.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for helping cultivate Miss Amber. We appreciate it. Question: Are are they mostly pool halls in Canada, or are they actually bars that you guys are playing in up there?
My main pool hall that I go to has a bar attached to it.
Okay.
So it's like a bar and pool hall.
Mm-hmm.
But it's focused mostly on the pool hall itself.
Nice.
And then there are other places that are just bars with like a couple
With
tables but they still qualify as pool halls.
Right. I think here, if you have more than 4, you're considered bar and billiards. I'm assuming is the correct name for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. We're learning a little bit about the Canadian scene, guys. If you guys have any questions for Amber, she'll be taking questions during the live feed. So feel free to pop in and ask Miss Amber anything that you'd like. She's said she'd be an open book, but you guys behave. Okay, let's move on along. Let me find my questions. Do you have a favorite game, and do you play any other games besides 8 and 9 ball?
Not really. But I do prefer 9 ball over 8 ball.
Okay.
I don't know. I've always just ever since I learned about 9 ball, it's always, hey, can we play 9 ball? I was wondering if we could start with 9 ball.
Okay, well, we have a question for you. Okay, I mean, that's fair. I think my favorite game is 10 ball. I think it's because it's a little more difficult because of that extra added ball, and that break is so hard to master. I'm an overachiever. But you couldn't get me to play one pocket to save your life. My mind goes blank every time. You would think I would be able to learn to play this game and be okay with it. But the moment that I get up there, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. We have a question from the audience here. Brutal asks, who's better, you or your brother? I had no idea you had a brother that plays.
Yeah. I will have to say, I'm definitely better than him.
A little bit of rivalry.
Just a little bit.
Okay. We'll allow it. Us girls, we have to take what we can get in the world.
Mm-hmm. He's also older. That's why it's like, yeah.
How old is brother?
He is 19.
19. Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to beat him on occasion. I mean, when
that's also him who asked the question. So
I'm assuming that's brother there in the chat, or is that someone that?
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. Okay. At what age? We already did that one. You said you were around 10 when you started playing pool. Who's been your biggest motivator or support system?
Definitely my dad.
Your dad.
Both my parents have always been supportive of everything, but just because my dad plays a lot more pool and is a lot more serious about it, he's able to help me out a bit more on the table and with the mental game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Had no idea Dad was an avid pool player. Is he, or does the family play on a league, or just something that you guys kind of do together as a father-daughter thing?
It wasn't until after COVID kind of stuff, my mom started coming to the pool hall. So then she's kind of got playing. And now it's me, Dad, and Mom who all play in a league once a week.
Nice. Okay. That sounds like it'd be a good time. I can't get my kids to do anything, so let's see. Do you have a favorite professional pool player and why?
Shane Van Boning for sure. And
I'll pull them
It
on
was
the
all
web. Why?
um definitely just I'm gonna be completely honest. I wasn't too sure, and then I just kind of got watching his videos. I'm like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. And then I went to my first ever junior tournament in Amsterdam, New York, in the States,
Awesome.
and there was a Joss tournament the previous week before. Um, the Turning Stones was the week before, and all the like professional players like signed some cue balls and donated some like cues and stuff to the
Mhm.
juniors, which was cool. And so at the junior tournament, they were doing like a draw, and if your name got pulled, you got to choose one of the prizes. And as soon as I saw the cue ball with his name on it, I was like, "That's what I want. I really hope I get that."
Awesome.
Unfortunately, I did not get it, but I still think that maybe one day I'll be able to get him to sign a cue ball if I ever meet him
I
or
may
anything.
have a photo of Shane that no one else has that I can mail you. You'll just have to get him to sign it.
Perfect.
Be more than happy to mail it to you. Okay, well,
Works for me.
let's move it on along, Amber. Let's see what else. What has been your biggest accomplishment so far?
Definitely, my very first pool tournament back in 2019 in the States where I came second.
Awesome.
It was my first ever real tournament, plus being my first junior tournament. So I was like, I have no idea what to
Oh,
expect.
wow.
I
And
was
you got
sure.
second? Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. There was a lot of emotions.
I bet. Anytime that I ever got it, it's hilarious. I can be standing in front of a group of juniors and giving my motivational speeches or doing what moms do best, which is talk to our kids until we have no voice. I'm sure your mom does that. um, you know, when you standing up and doing that, it's completely different when people are watching you play pool. It has to be the most nerve wracking thing ever on the planet.
Yeah,
I was
especially if my dad
with your
especially if
dad,
my dad's like recording the match and showing everyone at the pool hall.
right? Going, this is my daughter, and you're going, oh no. I completely feel
Yeah.
that one. I completely understand that one. Okay,
Mhm.
well, that's never going to stop happening. I feel like if it's recorded and you're on live stream, it even makes it worse.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, I can't even speak now. But you get used to
Pretty
it
much.
after a while. Just keep putting yourself in the box and then it'll become second nature to you.
Yeah.
Let's see. What has been your biggest lesson so far?
Um, I definitely struggle with, say I miss like a shot and like the other person has an easy run out or anything. I get pretty down about it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have missed that shot. But it's definitely just because I've grown up playing with adults who have much more experience, who are
Right.
much older and just know the game a lot better. Whereas like it could be like a pretty hard run and
Mm-hmm.
I'd still be like, oh, they'd get it. But
Right.
over time I realized that even they make mistakes. And if they make
Absolutely.
mistakes, it's okay if I make mistakes as well.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic lesson. Sometimes it's a hard lesson even for the pros. I mean,
Yeah.
even at our age, we still get nerves, we get annoyed when we miss or we lose, we'll have a little bit of an
Yeah.
attitude, and it's getting past all of that at your young age that is such an eye-opening experience doing what I'm doing right now, which is championing
Mhm.
for the junior players and trying to get them more tournaments. I'm seeing a new generation with a very focused mindset. You guys have definitely surprised me. I had no idea that our junior players were so mentally strong. But there's also the flip side to that, which April Larson and Mary Tam had touched on. If you had watched that interview that Nick DeLeon and myself had done with our original broadcast, which is called Billiard Talk, April touched on the mental part of the game and how it affects our female players in a way that can cause depression and other bouts. So if you ever struggle with any of that, I have a couple of girls that would be more than willing to talk to you about it. So, and
Awesome.
how are you handling that fairly well at your age?
I think I am. Okay. I have had moments where it's like maybe it wasn't the best reaction, but at the same time, I still think I handled it much better than I could have if I haven't had all the experience that I've had.
Right. It'll come to you. And also remember, every moment, every second will pass. I think Joey Gray had mentioned to me one time, he said, if you take 30 seconds to have your fallout from missing a ball or whatever else that's happening during that moment, take it, embrace it, take a deep breath, and throw it away because it's no longer relevant. And I know that's difficult, but best advice I've ever heard. I have another person out in the chat that has a question for you. What is your favorite thing about playing pool?
Not only do I enjoy the game, but I have an amazing family supporting me because everyone at the pool hall has known me since I first started the game. So they're also watching me grow up, and they're just amazing people overall.
Well, that's cool.
And just making me enjoy the game, yeah.
I had met a young man over in Tupelo, which is what started this whole thing, named Cheney White, and I've had the pleasure of watching him over the past 4 years grow into the pool player that he is today at 18 years old, and it's been an amazing journey for that young man, so I can only imagine what it's been like for you from the age of 10 until now. So I look forward to watching your progress. Definitely do.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Lux says, what's going on? Well, you have found the female version of Billiard Talk Juniors Edition, and we're coming to you live from Canada this evening. So have a seat, Lux, and enjoy the show. Thank you for coming in today. All right, let's go on to another question. What is one tournament you would like to attend and why, Amber?
This year I am really hoping I can make it to the championship 9-ball junior Canadians. Last year, it was held in Montreal, and I came second. I went undefeated up until it was Hill.
Oh no!
And then I missed the 9-ball. And I was like, no. But I would have gone to Puerto Rico. But one thing I realized after that is I don't think I was quite ready at the time, like mentally or even physically where I was in my game. I don't think I was that prepared to go to something as big as the Worlds. But I think this year might be my year, and I'm feeling much more confident at my game. I know there's still a lot for me to grow and learn, but from where I am right now, I think I'm much more prepared for the summer.
Awesome. Your dad had mentioned that you are currently under the guidance of a pool master in the Canadian area. Who is coaching you currently, if you don't mind me asking?
Eric Horvinston, I think. Okay. I'm not too sure how to say his
Let's not butcher his name. Dad, you want to save the day?
I'm not even quite sure. I think it's Eric Hornviston. He's
okay. So he's
it's a tough, long Scandinavian name.
Awesome. We like those Scandinavian Viking names. I'm not opposed at all. So are you learning a lot more about the game through him? Do you feel like your game is going to progress?
Yeah. The very first lesson was at the Canadians, which is an annual tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's a week long. It happens during March break.
Okay.
This year it was in the falls, which was fun. But yeah, he was there he had like an hour lesson. You could play a couple games with him. It was really fun. And then after that, we were like, hey, if you are ever in the area or anything, maybe we could like try to book something so we can have a bit more lessons together. So I had my
Sounds like it
first,
worked out.
yeah,
Good.
my first real 2-hour lesson with him on Sunday,
Okay.
which was fun.
Nice.
I enjoyed it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're striving and you're moving forward. Well,
Mhm.
let's see. More questions. Yes, this is juniors billiards players. Some of them are pros and some of them are up and comings. Lux, thank you so much for the question. And our next question is, have your grades ever suffered from your tournaments or your practices?
I don't think so. Not really.
Okay.
I
good.
try my best to stay on top of those.
Well, from what I understand, you're a busy girl. You have a part-time job as well as school, and you're also playing pool. What else do you have going on?
Along with school, I'm at Laura Secord for their DNA arts program. So it has all the arts, including vocals and band, which I sing and learning the trumpet.
Nice. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. After you, and you said after you finish, you're planning on going to university, right? And studying, possibly being a music teacher. That's very ambitious. Very ambitious.
Yeah.
The world needs plenty of teachers, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. So that's what we just touched on. My next question was, after high school, do you intend on furthering your education, and what would your major be?
Yeah. So, I've thought of a couple different things, but I think I will most likely major in music or psychology.
Okay.
And then minor in the other.
Okay. Sounds like a good deal. Very if I can talk today, a good round set of gifts you've got there. And we have our very own Battle of the Junior Champions Team Tate in the house. This is Gage Moray. He says, how do you feel taking lessons has improved your game? I am a junior player myself with no formal coaching, and I'm curious if it has improved the mental and mechanical aspects of the game. Good question, Gage. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, so like I said, I just kind of started off with the training, but I definitely do think it has helped. Even after my very first lesson with Eric, I definitely noticed my pool game had improved by even just slowing down my shots. Like when I'm getting ready, like looking at the table, thinking about it, where I want the cue ball to go. But she's definitely helped.
Awesome. Thank you for the question, Gage. Hopefully you're out and about and not working. I have another young man that likes to work just as much as you do, Amber. Keep him busy. You've got to keep busy. You and Gage have very similar personalities. If you guys ever get the opportunity to chat, I highly recommend it. Gage is a book of knowledge, and he may have a couple of pointers for you. I also have some other lesson plans from Risky Shots. I will give you that address. That is Frank Spain's format, how he teaches his family. And if you know D'Angelo Spain by any chance, really good pool boy.
I kind of got both my parents yelling at me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. He actually is the guy I played at my first juniors tournament who beat me when I came second.
D'Angelo?
Yeah.
Good player. But they have some things online if you want to check them out. Since you have a table at home, you might want to see what it's about anyway. Okay, let's move on along. Thanks for the question, Gage. How have you handled the pressures associated with pool so far, like the physical and the psychological aspects of the game? Do you feel like it's hindering your game, or do you think that it's actually pushing you slightly to better yourself?
I think it's kind of in between. There's moments where it's really shot me down, where I'm like, I don't know if I'm strong enough to keep going.
But
then there's other times where I'm like, you know what? Even after this shot, I think I want to keep going. This encourages me to continue and move on and see what I'm capable of, because everyone's always talking about how they see so much in me. So I'm like, hopefully one day I'll be able to see it.
You have to see it in yourself. I think one of the things that I tell my juniors is, if it scares you, jump in with both feet. Because if it scares you, it's the right move. If it makes you sick at your stomach, not so much. Okay, next question. Anyone else out there in the chat have any questions for Miss Amber? It's not very often we get a Canadian player in the house, and a female player at that. Do you currently have a practice regime that you follow, or are you just trying to get in stroke before a match?
Pretty much just trying to get in stroke. I'll sometimes throw just random balls on the table, have ball in hand, and see what I can see, how the table plays, see how fast, how slow, and how the rails are.
Okay. And do you feel, here's the big one, and a lot of my juniors are very hesitant to answer this one. In Canada, since you're not in the United States, do you feel that you get the support you need in that area for the junior players specifically? Not necessarily the female players, but the junior players specifically.
So I personally don't think we do, especially in this area. Okay. But in Montreal, there is someone, Alan Martin, I think his name is, where he's Canadian, and he also goes to a couple different schools and actually teaches
so he's
students.
Attempting to make it better. Okay.
Yeah. So he's there, but he is 6 hours away.
Right. Okay.
So
I'm getting it. I'm understanding now. So basically, we need to get the word out so it can spread further. It's hard for one person to cover many, many areas within a very large nation like Canada. I have the same problem here in the United States. I'm one woman, and it's hard for me to get to all of these areas for all of these juniors, but I do the best that I can with what I have available. So maybe he's watching tonight and he hears you and says, you know what, I need to make a trip over to Ontario. Okay. Moving on along. But we're definitely interested if you guys want to challenge any of our juniors here in the United States. Hint, hint, Miss Amber. If you could fast forward 10 years, where do you see yourself?
I would like to see myself as a professional pool player in the WPA, I think. Yeah, WPBA, sorry. But if I am unable to go that far with pool, I would still like to have it just as a fun kind of thing to do, but I would also like to be an elementary school music teacher.
That sounds nice. I would definitely send my grandchildren there. Definitely. Whenever I have them. Don't rush me, kids, wherever they are. My children are a little bit older than you. They're 25 and 20, almost 22. So they're a little bit older than you, but I'm not ready to be a grandmother yet. What advice would you give newcomers to the game of billiards?
I would tell them that it's not going to be easy. If you really enjoy the game, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have good and bad days. Maybe even days where you aren't feeling like playing, but sometimes you just got to ignore those feelings and remember how much you love the game. And even if it's for like 10 minutes a day, just to like play a little bit to keep in stroke and to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing and how much you love it.
Right. If you weren't bent to be there, you wouldn't want to go back. So,
yeah,
absolutely. And our last question, and then we'll just chit chat and see if anyone else out in the audience would like to ask you some questions, is if you could speak to someone with unlimited funds about junior tournaments, what would you love to see them do for the junior players?
Definitely a lot of what you're kind of trying to do in getting more fundraising for the juniors and to help them travel. And like for me, trying to like find tournaments to go to, and plus eventually wanting to go to the States for some more tournaments. It's not going to be cheap.
No.
So trying to find those opportunities and maybe even like more donations of like cues, pool cases, and all that stuff.
Do you have any friends that play pool in the area with you?
I've had a few. They've all came and gone.
Okay.
They're like, oh, I love the game. And then like a year or two later, they're like, yeah, I kind of lost the spark for the game.
Yeah, that's a girly thing and a guy thing. You know, once you hit those teenage years and you start noticing that there's more other things to do, you either love it or you hate it. And that's the truth when it comes to junior players in the billiard community. So absolutely understand that. Thank you for joining us tonight, Bang Time Pool. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any questions for Miss Amber before she runs off and wins a tournament this evening? Do you have anything up and coming?
June 3rd, I have a ladies tournament in Stony Creek. And then in July, I have the Junior 9-ball championship qualifiers for the Worlds.
Okay, nice. Well, I'll have to talk to Eddie and see what we can do about Canada and see if we can help you guys out. We have to find tournament directors is the issue. So if there are any Canadians watching tonight that are willing to run a tournament for the junior players in the Ontario area and that whole vicinity, we need more tournaments, guys. These junior players love the game. They're just not getting enough action out there. There's not enough tournaments for our junior players to improve. So if you're listening, contact me or Eddie Altman or Autumn Grusella. You can contact me or Autumn at Inside Pool Magazine, or you can contact Eddie at the JuniorBilliardsScholarshipFund.org. Gage also has some more things to say. Here we go. Amber, are there age restrictions in Canada to get into the bars and the pool halls? Most of the pool halls in America are 18 and up. And in my opinion, severely, it cripples the growth of the game. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. And for the pool halls, there is no age restriction.
Interesting.
Because they'll love you and let you in.
That as well. Everyone's heard about me in the area, so they're like,
so you're the favorite junior, is what it is. You're the favorite junior. I see. But there is an age restriction in the bars, I'm assuming, especially.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Gage also has another question. Are there handicap tournaments in Canada? I personally do not like them, and I think they do not encourage the players to improve, but I would like to know your opinion on them. Do you guys have handicap tournaments there?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways of how they decide handicaps. But I personally don't mind them, especially with lots of the tournaments, players who play are very honest with how they play, and everyone knows each other. So if you're a good player, you will have a higher handicap. So I enjoy them because it makes the game more interesting. It could be like a race to 5,
Right.
or like they have to go to 5, I have to go to 2,
Right.
and then it's just like they're up there on the hill, and then all of a sudden I win 2 games in a row, and then it's
Right.
just I like seeing the scoring.
Personally, to answer Gage's question, when I was playing pool, there were no such thing as a handicap tournament. It was you get up there and you get beat until you stop getting beat. I mean, that's pretty much how it was for me. But each area of the United States plays just slightly differently than the other part of the United States. And I'm from Alabama. Gage is actually in Georgia. So the Southeast, we pretty much all play the same. So when the handicaps tournaments first started coming out, they were based off of APA ratings, which is pretty much what your CCS is. So all of us that knew each other, we all had an APA rating. So it made it giving people handicaps a little easier. So we would race to those handicaps. We have one major tournament here in the South called Big Time on the Road. And it's based at Iron City Billiards in Birmingham, Alabama, or Irondale, actually. It's just slightly outside of Birmingham. It's the metropolitan area of Birmingham. It has the biggest amount of pool tables in it. I've never seen that many pool tables except when I went to Q Masters where they had 100 pool tables. The biggest sea of diamonds I've seen in a long time. A very clean area. And they run a handicap tournament where your best player would have to go to maybe 14 or 15 versus your lower ranked player was a race to 3. You know, if they don't know you, you're going to automatically be placed at least 1 or 2 skill levels a little higher than what you normally play to see where you fit in. But so far, it's been very, very, very lucrative for a lot of our pool players. So we're very fortunate to have that one major tournament here in the area. Unfortunately for my junior players, since they moved it to Iron City instead of Meridian, Mississippi, where it started, a lot of my junior players are not able to get into the venue because it's 21 and over. So we're trying to fix that here in my area, is giving the kids more places to be able to play pool and to learn.
Yeah.
You can't get better if you don't have anywhere to learn. All right. So Gage says, LOL, I guess people aren't quite as honest in America. And you have, have a lot of players lie and sandbag in order to get a lower handicap. That, unfortunately, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If you're going to cheat on a test in school, then you're going to cheat about your pool ranking when you're 45 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is, unfortunately. Amber, do you have any questions for Gage while he's in the room? He just got off of his run at Sticks in Villarica, playing in the first ever Juniors Moscone Cup event called the Battle of the Junior Champions. He played for Team Tate. I'm not sure if you know who Joey Tate is. He went toe-to-toe with Shane Van Boning and almost beat Shane, but he accidentally shot the wrong ball. And the poor young man has not been able to survive that. But he's redeeming himself quite well. And we wish Mr. Tate the best. He will be joining us back in Villarica next year for the 2024 Battle of the Junior Champions as a team captain. And I have my favorite moderator ever in the house. His name is Snooker, and he's out of the Washington area. He says if they show up at a tourney or league in a gravel truck, they are suspect. I don't know if they have gravel trucks up in Canada, Snooks.
They do.
Dad says they do. Well, it's been fun. Amber, do you have any questions for Gage, though? I mean, he'd be a really good one to pick his brain. I mean, considering we're further down in the South, you two need to literally connect and chat. And I'm going to tell you why. He has a different way of viewing pool, just like you have a different way. And you need to make connections here in the United States so that we can encourage all of the juniors to interact. So I will give you Gage's information, and you guys kind of chat, and maybe we can come up with a solution for everybody. And then you get to know how we play here. And he's another person that you would have another avenue to find out where these tournaments are. Like, especially the JIC ones. Gage goes to a lot of the JIC events. And they do host some further up north.
Apparently, we're going to an Ohio one.
Nice. That will be a good one. That's one of the JIC stops. That's a good one. And Gage may be there. I'm not sure. Okay. Marco, do you have any favorite bearded players that you play with at your home pool hall? I'm assuming you're talking to me, sir. She's 16 years old. And I didn't know that beards were prerequisite. And I'm assuming you know this person?
Yeah, that would be Mark from our pool hall.
Well, it says also, Luke is sitting here and says Amber is my favorite. Oh, well, at least they can join us. Thanks so much for the questions. I'm friends with her parents. Okay, awesome. Well, Amber, Gage Moray says, I will be there and it will be great to meet you. So here we are making friends.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
There we go.
He'll be able to help you out with a lot of that, a lot of the juniors in that area, and a lot of the kids that played in the Battle of the Junior Champions normally try to congregate together, and they normally follow the JIC tour and the BEF. So they'll be able to help you out with a lot of the tournaments in the area. So it's been actually profitable for you today.
Yeah.
Snooker says, beards do not automatically raise your Fargo number. They do not? I thought if you had one, Snooker, that automatically gives you 3 points higher. I shaved mine. Anyway, it's been fun, Amber. I'm going to let you go and enjoy your evening. I did want to ask you one more question, though. Do you have any hobbies outside of the pool industry?
Really anything to do with music.
Okay.
I love concerts. I love singing. I love playing my instruments.
And what do
I
you
also
play?
enjoy to read. Play the trumpet.
Awesome. I believe you said that to me and I've forgotten. I should get 3 points per inch. How long is his beard, Amber? Oh, we have a comedian in the house. Is this Matt Rife undercover? There's always one in the mix. Always one. At least they're fun to have around, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been great chatting with you, and I look forward to many more interactions. You've already made a friend. Gage Moray will be in Ohio, so you guys will have a fantastic time. And he's a great person to hang out with, and he can probably show you some pointers as well. I believe his Fargo is up in the 500, so he'll be able to show you some pointers on how to get your Fargo up a little higher. And maybe we can, like I said, maybe we can figure out a way where we can have our juniors meet up with Canada's juniors and see what happens at the board. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the Kolchews for allowing me to interview their daughter. It's been fun and it's been educational. There's a lot of things that I wasn't aware that was going on in Canada. Canada, we need some more pool tournaments for our juniors. Contact us over at the juniorbilliardscholarshipfund.org and we'll let you in on what's going on with us, and maybe we can combine forces and get some tournaments going on up there and move the Battle of the Junior Champions Canadians up towards that area. Okay? We'll see what we can do.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. You have a good night, Amber. Wait, they're still talking. Hang on. I guess Rip Van Winkle had a 950 Fargo Snooks. How dare you? I think Federer's going to be very upset you said that. These are my friends, Amber. That one's mine. I'll claim that one all day. You can have the other one. This weird one's mine. We love us some Snooker. Anyway, it's been fun. This is the Diva, and I'm they call me the Diva, and this is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine signing out and giving Canada a big high five for letting us take a few minutes with Miss Amber. Amber, if there's anything that you need from us over here in the States, especially me, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll do the best that I can to find out what we can do about getting you some travel information and some help. Also, when we log out, just hang on just a few minutes. I have a couple of links to give you to help you out with those travel expenses. Okay? Like I said, guys,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's been fun. You guys, whatever you do, make sure you're giving back to the pool community. If you have an extra cue that you're not using and you would like to donate it, contact me and I'll tell you where you can take that particular cue. If we have any Rotary organizations watching tonight, please contact me, Tracy Lerma at Inside Pool Magazine. I would love to speak to you. Well, it's been real, guys, and this has been Billiard Talk Juniors Edition. We'll see you soon. Have a great night, everybody. And remember, Thursday, we'll be interviewing a kid out of Oklahoma. Says he's pretty awesome on the pool table. Can't wait to meet him. Amber, make sure that you're shooting them straight out there, kiddo, and we'll see you in Ohio. You have a great night. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you as well.